This is for in case for those who weren't able to make it. Um, Again, I wanted to have a quick session with folks who were accepted to the summer reproducibility this summer, and some of if their mentors were able to make it. I think they were all um, the ones who were invited. And everyone can see my. I'm assuming everybody can see my slides. And it's not, and it's the right view. um, Anyways, I'm Stephanie Ligi. I'm at UC Santa Cruz. I am the executive director at the open source program office and the Center for it is cold. It is early and I haven't had my coffee. The Center for Research and Open Source Software. Um, and we're going to just talk a little bit about our session, our program today. For those of you who we are welcome to the program. First, I should say, for those of you who were accepted into Summer of Reproducibility, the two people you're going to deal with the most in our team are myself and Yelena, who are both on the call. And actually, Yelena, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Yelena, and I have contacted, I think most of you already with the list of everything that we need from each one of you. And if you have not received an email from me, it's probably because you haven't yet filled out the Google initial form, which is step one of the process. And that if you fill out that form, that determines like we need the information about your status, especially if you're in the United States working, but not you're a resident of another country. So there's like different steps that, um, depending on what category you are, that would determine what paperwork we need from you. But I will be working directly with everyone regarding all of the paperwork for the stipend. So please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. And we'll have some time for Q&A at the end too, for those of you who are here, for both Yelena and I. So, all right. Let me see. So just people who just for you to know what we're doing, what the whole program is. So the Open Source Research Experience Program is a kind of umbrella program that we at the UC SE Open Source Program Office, or the UC OSPO is the org name, but we use for like GSOC and for summer reproducibility, was really created to help, very similar to Google Summer Code and other mentorship programs like that, but a way to jumpstart contributor communities and get students working with really great scientists. And then we use GSOC, as you probably saw from the way we handled the last few months of the program. We really use programs like GSOC to leverage our all of our activities um, through globally. So we're able to attract folks for this program because we're part of GSOC uh, from all over the world. And so many of you are coming from a bunch of different places. And so we're really excited to we have such a great outreach and such a great reach every year. This is our third year doing this particular program. So these are the two main components. These are not the only ones, but they are like 95% of the folks that are mentors or mentees under OSRE will either fit into the category of a Google Summer of Code student or a summer reproducibility student. And I can talk a little bit about how that determination gets made in a bit, but for those of you on this call, you were selected to be part of the summer of reproducibility as part of once your applications were in. But again, we use the platform for simplicity for a number of reasons. We use the GSOC platform. One was because many of you reached us through this through Google Summer of Code, so you already knew that platform. It wasn't something you had to relearn. And others, for other reasons, it helps me kind of align everyone into the same platform when we're making the selection process, when the selection process is happening, and the mentors have just one place to have to go to. So in a lot of ways, it's that. So therefore, the determination of who gets slotted doesn't have to happen until later. It gives us a chance to really figure out what makes sense for each student, for each mentor, which program makes the most sense for them. So that's one of the reasons that we set it up that way. So, but those of you who are here are obviously, like I said, are part of the Summer of Reproducibility. This is our third year doing it. We are, and I just want to make sure is everybody seeing my regular slides, not my presentation view, right? Yes. Is that right? Did you just see the regular slides? Yep. Elena, am I seeing? What slides are you just seeing the regular slides?
Yeah, yeah, I see the
Okay,
slides
okay.
with the,
Okay,
yeah.
cool, cool. Yeah, yeah. There's a reason my presentation view is not coming up on my screen, but I think my screen is all screwed up. So that's what I was just concerned. So sorry about that. Hold on 1 second. And then yeah. The Summer of Reproducibility, as many of you are aware, is yeah, it was a program that we started at between our collaborators with University of Chicago, NYU, and then UCSC. And UCSC's main role in the collaboration is to really to run this program. Um, and this is our third year doing it. The grant is for 3 years, but we are hoping for a renewal and continuation of the grant in the years to come. And each year we've had a growing number, and always about anywhere between. I think the first year was relatively small, but we've done at least 15 folks slots every year, and I think we have that's about what we have this year. Um, but it is separate from Google Summer of Code, like I said. So there will be like I will have other discussions with GSOC students soon, and at some point we'll bring everybody together. But since there's differences in the way that some of the administration happens, I like to have a little chat with each group first, separately. Right, just a little bit more about it. Again, has similar eligibility requirements as uh, Google Summer of Code. But one of the things that we've done differently because of the nature of Summer of Reproducibility, that it's about like research, like much more strictly research and working on reproducibility issues and bringing in faculty. We allow for students um, who are members of a lab that maybe has worked with that we worked with faculty, they can be eligible. I have to flag ahead of time for me that they are actually planning to choose a student, so that I'm noted just for students coming in from GSOC that they're not necessarily should not apply through that one, because maybe they have a pre-selected students, and we wouldn't want students to like waste their time or slots on that. So generally speaking, it's also it's funded by the NSF versus Google Summer of Code, which is funded by directly by Google. But yeah, so that's a little bit of difference, but it also is a again like very much modeled off of it, and we try and keep the structure very much parallel to GSOC. The timelines. This is the timelines for both programs for the OSREL in general. Um, and we are obviously in the May-June, which is the onboarding period. Onboarding is just you should be, not constantly, but having some conversations with your mentor over the next month, and then prior to your actual start of work. And the sorry, and then the and a lot of times it's just about like getting to know, setting up what your specific timelines are, and also understanding what expectations there are for you and for your mentor. It's also a great time to really set up how often y'all will check in with each other over the course of the summer. Is it like a daily thing? Is it like a couple times a week? Those are the types of discussions you want to, and also how you want to do it. Are you using Slack? If there are time zone issues, are you doing it asynchronously? Um, and then we will have you will have I'll go through this a little bit in a second. You will have a midterm. You will have midterm evaluation. You will have blog posts in here that I'll talk about in a second. And then at the end, we previously had done more public reports and presentations. We're kind of flexible on that these days because there's less there's less. I mean, there's different opportunities out there, and we don't want to require everyone to do public reporting. But we will help and definitely support anyone that wants to do do presentations on their work outside of, in public conferences or the like. And I do know that a number of our students from the last couple of years have written papers with their, from summer reproducibility in particular, have written papers with their mentors or given presentations at academic conferences. So yeah, there's definitely cool things that can happen from the work that you're doing. So this is just, oh wait, and I do want to point out, sorry, and because we're getting different views. We ask everyone on the intake form that Elena was talking about their start dates. We do want to make sure the start dates are, or I have earliest date as June 1st. If there's a little bit of flexibility in that start date, but not by much, because yeah, obviously we're just, we're already in June, May 12th. So we won't start. We need a few weeks to get everybody's paperwork together. Obviously, if you want to start doing things, we can't stop you, but we technically won't start your program until at like May. I think May 28th was kind of the first date that we were thinking of, but June 1st is really the date that we're, as a default, that we're kind of choosing for people for as a start date. Now, oops. So again, typically we start end of May, beginning of June 1st being the default this year. But total duration of the project is adjustable, and we've had that. I think everyone may hopefully have understood that. But you want to make sure that you have communicated it with your mentor and they're okay. And I will always double check with a mentor if I see an adjustment in a time from a student, from one of the mentees. This is a great time for you to also make sure that you understand what your scope and size of the project is. And it's really good to kind of get that as clear as you can by the end of this month. That's kind of one of the great parts about this month lead up to the beginning of the project, or month-ish lead up to the beginning of the project, that's what you want to talk about. And then you have some other activities and expectations that I will hopefully I'll go over in a second, and that everybody hopefully understood from the email that I initially sent. So here are the expectations for the contributors. I think they're pretty straightforward. I don't think aside from maybe some of these extra reporting that we're asking for, which shouldn't be we're trying to make them as simple as possible. You just want to make sure you stick to the timelines that that the timelines that were expected of you and that you agreed to. Either you put in your proposal or were agreed with you and the mentor. And really your stipends and receiving stipends are based on you completing those steps. Any issues that you have, it's really important. We're pretty flexible. So if you have an issue, let us know. I mean, like if you need an extra 2 weeks all of a sudden because something came up, or even if it's as simple as, oh wow, this is, I'm having less ability to work on this. And just, if you get an extension, you don't get, like, you're not, the number of hours expectation of a number of hours stays the same. And so therefore stipends don't change. But if you do actually need some more time or flexibility, it's completely doable. You just have to let us know. And the earlier you let us know, the better. It is expected that this project, especially if you have a large project, i.e. a full-time project, that you prioritize this over, you treat it like your full-time job for the summer, as you would treat any responsibility like that. Obviously, if you have a medium or small, well, medium is really all we have, the medium projects, so you're part-time, so you may have other responsibilities that you're also doing, but we do want you to prioritize this over other activities. For instance, if there's time off or vacations that you're going to do, that's acceptable, but you need to expressly tell your mentor, and make sure that it fits within the milestones and timelines that you both agreed to. And if you need to make any adjustments, you do. And that is not just some surprise to your mentor that, like, oh yeah, I'm going away for 2 weeks tomorrow, and oh yeah, I forget to tell you. So that's something that can really negatively impact the mentor, especially if they are working with a number of different students over the summer and have what you're doing kind of planned into the overall flow. that can have some major impacts. And it will definitely impact your stipends if I've had mentors who basically say, yep, can't work with this student. And so we will end the project over something like that. So just be aware of it. 99% of the time, students don't do this, but it happens once in a while. So I do want to flag that. I am asking that every 2 weeks you do a little like form, like how are you doing type of form to Elena or I will look at. And it's great because it can help you kind of track what you've been doing. And we do have blogs that we want you to write. So you can use it for all the what you put in that form to create your blogs. But it also helps me, it helps us flag if there's any issues that you're having. It's a good chance for you to like let us know if there's a problem with your mentor. If you yourself personally are having some issues that maybe you haven't brought up with your mentor yet, but you want to let us know about. And it's just a good way for us to make sure everybody's kind of moving along, and getting their work and getting everything done. And lastly, I think this goes without saying, but I do want to state it that really being respectful of the community that you're working under is super important, and they should be respectful of you at the same time, so that we all have a very positive summer. And anybody and by in community you really want to make sure it's your mentors obviously, but anybody else, there may be other students that are working with you through your mentor. um definitely definitely Elaine and I, uh, we appreciate it, but and even just general discussions within the Slack channel, which will maybe people coming from other mentors, people working in other teams, summer teams. Just keep that in mind when you are being professional, being thoughtful of other people's time and effort. And we do have a pretty positive community here, and we like to keep it that way. If for any reason I didn't keep a slide in this, I should probably have. We do have a code of conduct. If for any reason you are finding that you're having an issue, like somebody from someone else, I'm like maybe your first person to contact. If you don't feel comfortable contacting your mentor about it, Elaine and I are the people to let know if you're having some issues. And we're happy to handle it in as discreet a way as possible as you prefer. Um, and we're going to keep what you and we will keep what you tell us. Keep in mind that if you want to keep it between us and just get some advice or something. So, but anyways, we are here for that as well. All right. So again, this is our Yelena talked a little bit about the intake form and the paperwork for stipends. And again, these are important with the delays on those. Whenever you had folks who had really long delays in getting their stipends, normally it started out with people being delayed in getting in these initial forms. So keep that in mind. We try and get them out as quickly as possible. We do have the downside of doing this program right at the end of our financial year here at UCSC. So a lot of times things get delayed. If we don't get them in by a certain time in June, then they get pushed back because they're trying to close out all the books for other programs. So ours kind of get pushed to the side. So it is good the earlier you get it to us, the better. Um, and the other things that we want to have expectations I've alluded to are the 3 blogs for the OSRE website. So every student is expected to do in both from Summer Reproducibility as well as from Google Summer of Code to do um, three three blogs on the website over the summer, and they're specific times. There's a little flexibility if people need some help, but you let me know. The first blog it will be due June. I have June 15th or 1 week after your start date. So whichever is last. So if you're having a later start date, you just have to do it within the week. You want to do it like the week after you start. And it's really a short intro. I'll show you an example of what one of those looks like at the with a link to the proposal, the name of your mentors, and then you also want to at the same time add a profile on our website. And you'll see that all the students we've had in the past have all have profiles there. The second one will be due around your midterm, and once we have a chance to look at everybody's project durations, we'll let you know when your midterm is. And again, the midterm is a simple Google form, and I'll talk about that in a second. And your final blog, and really important that we get, um, is because that's kind of your final. Yes, I finished the project. I'm successful. Yes, yeah, we can send you your final stipends and that type of thing. Um, and really want to have a link to what your final artifact is or your final outcome, depending on what your deliverable is for your project. And these are due. I think I have it like 1 week after your final evaluations. Again, we'll send notes to you and your mentors about the exact dates. Um, again, there are the every 2 week Google Forms, and I think I'll have that starting um, uh, late June. I give people time to get started and get going, but then after that, we want to see like reports every couple weeks. And to the OA, that's the org admins, that's me and Yelena. Um, and again, this is a lot of this is meant to catch any issues. Uh, there's also yeah, I'll try and do this. I left this in here, but in this from last year, this link to progress reports form to be included in the calendar reminders. I'm not sure how effective that was last year, but I will try and set that up again this year. If not, I will keep it on the Slack channel. You can, I know, probably send reminders through the Slack channel. Again, the Slack channel will still be used during the summer, so please check in on it. Be alert about stuff that's coming in because I will often use that to just let people know instead of email or other forms of communication. Similar to GSOC, uh, the and sorry, the slide was something I use for both GSOC and SOR students. So similar to GSOC, you will have a midterm and a final evaluation. And for GSOC students, they have it on the GSOC portal for summer reproducibility students and anyone else that's not under under SOR, so OSRE. Um, I we create a midterm, and I'll show you what that looks like, and a file evaluation through a Google form. And there'll be specific deadlines that you'll be given. Again, that's midterm and final, so it'll be based on what the duration of your project is as you set for it and as you and your mentor agreed to. Um, and yeah, so those will be I think like I said, I'll show you some more, and those are just really important ones to keep in mind. Uh, I hate having to follow up with people to remind them to do their midterm and final evaluation, so please don't make me or Elena have to come after you for those. It's really good to get them in. And it may be something that, by the way, so your mentors may have something on top of this that they're actually asking you to do. This is specifically for us as an organization, like us as the org admins, to balance and make sure things are going okay. So your mentors may have a separate kind of expectation for you about reporting to them or talking to them. This is on top of that. But mentors do see and can see these midterm evaluations. But I specify, is there anything you don't, like you are allowed to indicate when something you don't want to share with your mentor. So I don't, they don't have access to the kind of the form itself. I provide them the comments that you have okayed to be shared with the mentor. The mentor is just so you know what we don't have any mentors on the call right now, but just so you know what the mentors are supposed to be doing. They should actually be communicating with you regularly and not leaving you hanging. Um, and that's why we try and also have a co-mentors there. Some of you might have two mentors, but not everyone. But if there any reason you're having an issue with that, you can communicate with me. They should be giving you timely evaluations and input. Their evaluations also, so they have strict guidelines as well. Their evaluations should not be late. Um, if there's any problems, they're supposed to reach out to you to let you know or to let me know. And it's up to them to support the work that you're doing. They can, and aside from what you're putting on our site, there's a lot of our mentors have separate websites that I think that we encourage them to also highlight the work that's being done by our students. Um, all right, so for what we're doing, Yelena, like primarily Yelena and I, we keep track of your progress. We remind you about deadlines, and mainly these uh, these evaluation deadlines, evaluation and blog deadlines, those type of things. Um, it used to be easier when everybody had the exact same schedule, like everyone, like when we didn't like let durations happen. So some for anyone that's on a, we try and block you, we try and keep people within like a cluster of like 10 or 12 week programs. And if you have a really longer duration or an odd duration for your project that's not within the norm of the rest of the group, um, you may not get your reminders as well. It's just, because if it just, especially if you go longer than, let's say, September, which is allowed, uh, we just warn you, I just warn you ahead of time. By the time, if everybody but you is completed, and you've had a longer deadline, there's a very good chance that I, our reminders may wane a little bit in the fall. But we do try to make sure that that we do remind you and make sure that your mentors are still aware of the timelines. Um, we will let you know if there's any admin issues. We'll try and clarify them with you. So you email myself or Elena or send Slack messages to us. Um, if there's changes in project duration, I need to okay it. Again, I typically I will okay anything that the mentor says is okay. There are some limits that I have. Um, but with regards to like durations, I don't want it going past a certain date. Like like I think November is the cutoff that we were getting this year. Um, but yeah, normally if it's within reason and the mentor's okay with it, we will okay it. Um, and if there are issues that arise with your mentors or anybody else in your communities, we're happy to mediate to make sure things go well. We have definitely done that in the past, and it definitely helped the student and the mentors. For those in the non-GSOC students, and which is everyone on this call, we're well, and this year I'm going to appreciate Elena a lot because she's taking over the most of the stipend work, and so she's the best person to contact if there's any issues with your stipends. Um, and I'll let her a chance to talk about the process in a second. Um, and any other programmatic issues, you can come to either of us. Uh, and things to keep in mind for those of you on the call or watching this video, um, US-based international students really need to work authorizations. Already had a couple questions about that. Even if you are working with a mentor who happens to be within your university, you are still, because you're actually working for UC Santa Cruz, because we're the ones paying for the stipends. So from the perspective of, you know, the U.S. immigration and those who deal with international students, we're the ones who you are working for. So we have to give you a work authorization letter. We've done it for many universities and haven't had any issues with our format. There are a couple times universities send us have a specific type of format or a form they want us to fill out. Those are fine, but just get that through. Check in with Elena about that, and she can take care of getting that for you. And that's a good one. If you have that, do it as soon as possible. Typically, they go really fast. The International Student Services is ready for these type of letters and to get them out to you fast as the summer approaches. But so earlier, the better. And I think that's important. Again, communicate any problems and challenges and ask if you need accommodations for anything, i.e. like changes in timing, and adjust. But that's kind of the big accommodation we have is the, extending the deadlines for things. We can do it, just um, we just really need to know ahead of time. So deadlines are strict, but they can be adjusted if you let us know ahead of time. So if you miss a deadline, that's bad. So, and especially if you knew ahead of time that you're going to miss it, you could have easily just asked me for a week extension. I would have given it to you. So, or very likely, if the mentor okayed it, you would have gotten it. So it's better to ask for an extension, so that you don't miss a deadline. Um, and again, it's just important to keep that in mind and communicate that with your mentors. Now, the project is yours. So keep that in mind. That is, you should be doing all the work. You should be doing the bulk of the work for your project, but you're also part of a community. So you want to make sure that you're accountable and responsible to the community that you're working with. And many mentors are happy to keep you working with them. and be part of the community moving forward. So, and this is particularly useful for those of you working on open source projects, also within the reproducibility realm. But any of them, I mean, I'm sure any of the, if you're working on some research and your mentor wants you to, help with a paper or something, these are great reasons to stick around even after the program's completed and your final stipend comes in. All right, these are our email addresses. You will probably have seen those. Those are on our the email we sent out, so you should have those. This is the website, the main website for OSRE. So for the midterm form, this is the what I was saying. It's really relatively short. It just gives some basic information, very simple questions, and but you have this spot down here that gives you feedback. As I was saying, if you don't want your mentor to see it for any reason, if you have some concerns, you just indicate it, and we are more than happy to keep that information to ourselves. And we'll probably follow up with you on it, since most likely that sounds like something where you may need some, um, maybe some assistance working with your mentor. The other thing I wanted to show, hold on, let me find the original one. There we go. I think that's it. So, and this is when I'm saying when people putting their different blog posts up, this is one from last year. Joanna was a mentee from last year. And this is her initial blog post. Really simple, just who she is. It's an intro post. It had her, a link to her proposal, the different um, the people she worked with, and then also like the information, because that's basically the general information that you want. She also created her own like little bio, say who she is, and this was exactly what you want. You can have more, or you shouldn't have less. This is pretty thin, but you don't you can have more information if you like. You can see she did all three of her her first one, her midterm, and then her final. And she also has information about herself here. This is optional for you. We like, if you just want to do like a LinkedIn page so people can see you, that's fine. You don't have to necessarily put your email or something on. The explanation on, let me see, it's not here. The explanation on how to get there. Hold on, let me go back to here. Like I said, so this you've probably seen. I think I have it here for students. Let me see. Nope. Do I have the explanation? Nope. Okay, so apologies for that. The 2024 student pages have I'll make sure this is on the 25, but if you go down, sorry, we had a lot of them last year. I probably should start at the bottom and move up. Here. So writing a blog post on your 2024. This is the explanation on how to do that one of these posts. Again, your mentors have also done these because that's how they got their project ideas up. It's the same process. So if you have questions about it, they will also be able to help you out. But yeah, so that's on the website, giving you some information on how to do that. And again, it's just through a pull request for your to our repository that has our website is based on. Right, I think that was it. And right. I think that is okay. I'm not sharing any screen now. Okay, we're doing the opposite. All right, yeah. And so, again, sorry for that few minutes of confusion. Is there, I guess right now, I'll let it be. I need to do one thing. I just saw a message of something I deal with. So what I will do is when open up to questions, but Yelena, I might let you do a quick overview of um, some of the paperwork that you will need. Uh, um, and so maybe you want to give a quick explanation on some of that process.
All right. So really quickly, um, so the first, as I already mentioned, the very first thing that we'd like you to do is do the Google initial form, and I think we already received about 11 responses. So that's the very first thing you should do. And then for everybody that's foreign national but residing in the United States, you will need to fill out the payee setup form. And then there will be a glacier form, and I sent the instructions to everybody who so far I know qualifies or is under this category. And that's another set of information that you will need to submit to a glacier portal, and that will be sent to you. And then for that category, and then a work authorization form, which Stephanie already mentioned. Then there's a category of everybody who is foreign national who is working in their own country. We will need the pay setup form, same as the first category, and then also a wire transfer request form. That's for everybody who, because you don't have a bank account in the United States, this is a form that you will list your bank account in your own country, and so that the funds will be transferred electronically there. And then a statement form, which is a really quick, really short form, which pretty much lists your start and end date of your project. And then you sign it and then email it back to me. And then, wait, did I go over everybody? Oh, and then the first category. So everybody who is a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, that's the for you, we will need the pay setup form just for everybody, how it is for everybody, and that's pretty much it. So that's like the easiest category. So yeah, like if anybody has any questions, please let me know. And when I send instructions and everything, I put the links to each form, and then some of the forms need to be emailed back to me, and I listed that. So when you receive that email, just please like read through everything so that you understand, like carefully read through each step. Because there's, it could be confusing. There could be 3 to 4 forms that we need from you. And again, I'm available to help you with anything. Um, yeah, I think that's about it.
Great, thank you. Any questions? Sorry, any other questions? Any questions from those on the call? Right. Well, and this won't be the only opportunity for people to ask us questions. Again, we're on Slack, we're on email if you need stuff. I'll probably try and have one more general session with with the folks from other, the GSOC or other parts of OSRE as well. All right. All right, I'm gonna give one more pause just to make sure nobody has any questions. All right, great. Well, we can end it here. If people, I may just stop recording.